Hel- Hello, this is Sandeep Ghosh for another short broadcast, this time from Calcutta, about the current goings on in politics. Obviously, the biggest talking point now is the standoff that's happening in Parliament between the government and the opposition with regard to discussion on the Manipur crisis, on which the opposition is demanding Prime Minister Narendra Modi gives not only a statement but uh, you know attends a debate in Parliament, and the government is uh, kind of steadfastly refusing on that and saying it's good enough if the Home Minister were to participate, but they would also like to discuss, along with Manipur, incidents of women's atrocities in other states like Rajasthan. Now, there is absolutely no denying that Manipur cannot be compared with the other states, and Manipur certainly deserves discussion in Parliament. But the point is whether the terms of engagement due to which the standoff is happening is justified. Uh, in the normal course, I have said in some other fora on Twitter as well as in articles, I think the government's communication strategy with regard to Manipur has been, like many things else, quite faulty or at least difficult to understand, even for uh, you know uh, supporters of the Modi government, like myself. First of all, if there was an alternative story, alternative narrative to what's happening in Manipur, from what is being perceived or what is being propagated through various channels of social media, as well as in stray reports on mainstream media, and certainly the grapevine, the government ought to have taken a more proactive steps in sort of containing those narratives, or at least providing the alternative standpoint. Like today, they're talking about influences from across the border, the narco war, and the rest of it. But there was absolute total silence, which allowed these counter narratives to have built up over a period of time, which puts the government, at least in public perception, on the back foot. And now that there is more openness to allowing media to get into Manipur, obviously this is getting amplified. You're having some very, very dramatic yeah, coverages with a great deal of histrionics, even from the media personalities who are going there. So overall, I don't think the government is coming across in very good light. But at the same time, when we look at the opposition, it is very clear that the opposition wants to make a political issue out of it, make this a political, they see this as a great opportunity to embarrass, corner the Narendra Modi government. And they see this probably as a stepping stone to the 2024 election. And this is something else which will give further steam to their movement. And they are really kind of smelling blood and trying to pounce on this. Now, both, I think the sad part of this really is the lack of statesmanship in today's Indian politics. Manipur is too sensitive an issue, and certainly the opposition realizes that it is not just mere an ethnic strife. There are various, not only layers, various dimensions, angles, various. A very, very complicated situation, and it's as it's been pointed out. This is not the first time Manipur. There has been a crisis. There was a 180 days blockade even earlier. And we know that that entire geography, that particular area, which is the borders are very, very nebulous, porous, and there are so many elements working, makes that a very, very sensitive area to deal with strategically. And and on a security wise, it can have long term uh, implications. But here again, I would tend to question the Narendra Modi government, that did they genuinely try to take the opposition into confidence in what was happening from the beginning? Or has really the communication lines between opposition and the government broken down so badly that any kind of, uh, uh, eh, all channels have seem to have either been cut off or blocked? Now, that is not a good sign for democracy. Even if there is public posturing, even if there is, optical hostility, earlier there would be still some back channels open for two sides to talk. But today, it's becoming almost like a personal enmity on two sides. And it is compounded by a sense today, which the opposition seem to have got, that, okay, now BJP is vulnerable and they must go for the kill. And therefore, there is no turning back. And let's, precipitate matters to the hilt, and they are therefore also trying to uh, drum up support from all quarters, both internally and international media, uh, which ultimately doesn't really reflect well on India. And even if it, uh, you know, uh, uh, serves some short-term political objectives, I don't think in the long term it is good for the country. One last unrelated point, the other news coming in that there are some rumors in Karnataka about some threat to the Siddaramaiah government. There were talks about whether his deputy, D.K. Shivkumar, could be behind it, but Shivkumar has tried to deflect it to a conspiracy theory directed at the Janata Dal Secular, where there was a meeting between the Prime Minister and Mr. Devegowda's son, and there have been some comments. And uh, as I say, there is no smoke without fire. There may be the rumblings, whether something comes out of that or not. There must be some basis to these speculations, whether something is happening, and that, again, to me personally, is a bit of a worrying trait. After seeing what has happened in Maharashtra, though that itself is, still, I think, an enigma. What is this deal with Ajit Pawar? What is Ajit Pawar's continuing relationship with Sharad Pawar? Whether Sharad Pawar is with him in it, or there is. It's a very, very, I think, confusing situation there in Maharashtra, and one cannot be really sure till the 2024 elections whether how long this arrangement remains, or if, let's say, BJP doesn't do well in 2024, which side will the NCP swing at that point in time? These are all questions up in the air. Similarly, one doesn't know what's going to happen in Karnataka, but if this is the trend, that BJP may like to engineer, or the entire political metrics, given the situation they know, which is they will find it difficult to get the same number of seats as they had got earlier, just on their own, as things go today. Then I think we are in for a lot of turmoil in the coming few months, in the run up first to the assembly elections, and thereafter the Lok Sabha election. Uh, Finally, the one I must put on record, one disappointment is I personally have, is about BJP's reaction to this INDIA acronym, which the opposition, led by Congress, have invented to take on the BJP. I had thought that their response, notwithstanding the initial reactions, which was expected either from the party rank and file, the supporters, or some of the party spokesperson, or even leaders, I would have thought BJP would have a more mature and intelligent way of countering it, just like they did earlier on the Chaukidar Chor Hai, to turn it into maybe Chaukidar. This playing around from India and Bharat, or even talking about today's statements of Narendra Modi, which have got again articulated that there is the word India and the East India Company or Indian Mujahideens or PFI, all of that. I think it's not really cutting so far. But let's wait and see. I think all is fair, as they say in love and war, and we are in a state of war today. And I guess uh, some of this is inevitable and unavoidable. So let's keep a watch. We'll keep chatting. I'll keep coming back to you with my little observations. Thank you very much for watching. This is Sandeep Ghosh signing off from the Ghosh Spot.